I'm not sure why it's not hooked up at
Uh-oh,
all.
I should turn that off.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's okay. Hey everybody, how are you? Jeff Gellman of Solid Canine Training. Welcome to my Q&A, my weekly Q&A. This is Linda.
Wait, that's my weekly.
Okay, this is Linda sitting next to me. I'm so glad you're here. Hey everybody on YouTube, everybody on Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Voice. Where else are we? iTunes. We're all over. If you're not listening to this on any of those platforms, we're available on every single one of those platforms, actually, plus a couple of more that I probably didn't even mention. So welcome to all of you. If you want to know how to ask questions, we ask questions on Periscope. This is live streaming on Periscope. Also, if you're on my Patreon page, you get a lot more of me because you get your questions answered, as well as you can also get Skype. So you can go to Patreon/Solid Canine Training. If you're brand new to my show, my name is Jeff Gellman of Solid Canine Training. I am a dog trainer, business owner up in Providence, Rhode Island. We have a dog training facility that we specialize in aggression rehab and behavior modification. We deal with some very, 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 very challenging dogs. So it's always really great to do these Q&As. If you're not familiar with the show, you'll hear me talk about punishment a lot. And the reason why I talk about punishment is because a lot of people will ask questions, and this is the way they ask the question: how do I stop and then fill in the bad behavior? And the only way to stop an unwanted behavior, a bad behavior, a behavior you don't want with a dog is through punishment. Punishment is not abuse. Now, you also have to learn how to properly punish your dog. Yelling, screaming, doing timeout, that's not a proper punishment, nor is, kicking your dog either. That's not a proper punishment. So there's a proper way to do it, and I think most people are drawn to me because they learn how to properly punish their dog. Also, obviously, if you were a fly on the wall of our training center, we put enough videos out, 90% of our day at the training center is reward-based training. So whenever we want to train a dog to do something, we use rewards. So it's quite the balance. So anyway, here we go with the questions.
They're coming in.
They're coming in. Let's go.
I have a new Cane Corso. Should I go right into a heel with the Herm Sprenger or focus on LLW?
So what you can do is, I would actually work on crate stuff, on threshold stuff. I would work on the place command, work on your leash handling skills with the dog, get the dog introduced to the prong. So you don't have to go outside and go start walking the dog. Obviously, your dog needs exercise, but don't feel like that has to be the first thing you do. Next.
This is from Gabe. My lab is starting to run after people and nipping, not really biting yet. High correction.
Well, so Gabe, how are you? How's things on Hawaii? Miss you, buddy. Your dog shouldn't be off leash. Bottom line. Your dog should be, it's sort of a little bit unethical if you think about it, that your dog's off leash if you know it has that behavior. So what I would do is keep your dog on leash, keep it on a long line, work on off-leash recall. But if if a lab came up to me and nipped me, it wouldn't be a good scene. And I'm not a violent person. Ironically, if you look on my Instagram page today, my Jeff-ism of the day, you'll think I'm the most violent person ever if you want that Jeff-ism about petting a dog. But the bottom line is I'm all about self-preservation, and I'm old school about protecting myself, my wife, and my kids. And if your dog comes up to me and nips me, I'm not going to just be like, oh, don't worry about it, buddy. I'm going to be like, sorry. It's fully remote collar trained. That absolutely, if it's going after somebody, then it absolutely should get punished for doing that. So next.
Love the hair, Linda.
But that just goes to show you, Gabe, it just goes to show you obedience and behavior are two different things.
Thank you, Jean, for the hair comment. Hey, Marta.
Hey, Marta, I love you. Miss you. Oh, Marta, nice profile photo. Nice. You've always been stunning, but that's a nice profile photo.
Hey,
next.
Jeff and Linda from Bernadette.
Hey, Bernadette.
How long can a dog stay in a cage daily?
Well, you crate your dog. So, Tammy, most of us have to work, and most of us work an 8-hour day. So there's that. I mean, puppies stay in crates for 20 hours a day. When I say puppy, that's 14 weeks and under. Not straight, but over the course of the day. I think what happens is your average dog is probably going to spend, if they sleep in the crate and then they stay in the crate during the day, we're looking at anywhere from 14 to 16 hours, which sounds pretty extreme, but people have to work, and it's those 8 hours that your dog's out of the crate. What's it doing? So, but 8 hours is about, pushing it. Some people have to leave their dogs in the crate for 9 hours. It'd be nice if they had a dog walker come in or a friend come in midday, things like that. Next.
Dog will recall an off-leash heel away from home, but not play fetch. Nervous, more work off-site.
Yeah, Natalie, your dog is most likely nervous. Your dog is a little bit nervous about most likely environmentals. So what I would do is I would start working that dog more around environmentals on some pretty simple things. If your dog's so nervous that it won't take food, that's another thing. Everybody thinks food is the answer. We train with food. You give me a nervous dog, it won't eat food. It won't eat food. So what I would do is see if it has any food drive away from the house and introduce that around the environmentals. Next.
Something's going on out there. Here. It's not us.
No, that's not us. It's a high pitched.
So annoying. Okay.
Yes. So that's probably
my
neighbor.
dog. Uh-oh, guys. My dog gets super excited when it sees other dogs, I think is what this one says. When seeing other dogs. Yep.
Okay, well, so stay. So what you want to do so stay. I need a little bit of a second part of that question. It gets excited and wants to play or gets excited. Here we go. I'll make it easy for you, Stay. By the way, welcome to my show. It's your first time on my show. I really, really appreciate it. So what I would do is this. I would, even if it gets excited and wants to be aggressive or aggress, or it gets excited and wants to play, same thing. So if you're not using a prong collar to walk your dog with, what I would do is get a prong collar. I've got a video on how to size it, how to put it on, and how to introduce it. Teach your dog how to properly walk next to you in a proper heel. And then all that excitement is going to be correction. A lot of people struggle with that because they're like, oh my God, well, I don't want to correct my dog. It'll be mean. It's like, no, well, you can correct arousal. Next.
Did you see this part of Gabe's about the dog has a bite history?
So if your dog has a bite history, it can't be off leash, Gabe, with people. Bottom line, can't be off leash with people. Next.
Jeff, the Staffy I adopted is scared of everything, even things like pots and pans when in my hand.
So Bernadette, so what you're going to do is you've got a dog that's just really nervous and fearful. So the first thing I would do with that dog is I would actually remote collar train that dog. Remote collars are one of the best training tools out there for fearful dogs. Now, a lot of people think, oh, so you shock fearful dogs. If that's the way you want to twist it, go ahead. But I work with feral dogs, I work with fearful dogs, I work with anxious and nervous dogs. The best thing you can do to them is massive amounts of structure, leadership, and guidance. And also, you can use fear to rehabilitate fear. It's very, very common, actually, in the rehab industry, and it works. You just have to, there's a certain way to do it. So longer than it takes for this, like, Periscope show. But what I would say right now is massive leadership and guidance, and don't let that dog right now make its own decisions. Next.
How to address tennis ball obsession. Can't relax or focus on anything if tennis ball in sight.
So Vanessa, what you're going to do is you're going to actually proof your dog off of tennis balls, but your dog will still go after it'll still go after tennis balls if you want to play fetch with it. So what I would do is I would teach that dog place duration. So place is, sorry everybody on the radio, you can't hear this on Spotify and SoundCloud and iTunes and on YouTube, but I just held the camera up to my dogs lying down. So and they're not tired, they're just in place right now. So what I would do is get your dog to do place and then work on your dog away from the ball, closer and closer and closer to place. Next.
My dog seems to be going backwards emotionally. She's becoming fearful on walks. Crate trained.
So Bill, your dog might be going through a different fear stage. I don't know how old your dog is. So, sometimes dogs change in about 9 months, a year, 18 months. There could have been an environmental that spooked your dog. Again, I can't stress enough, massive leadership. And what does leadership mean? Well, on the walk, it means at my side, at my pace, utilizing the proper tools. We like prong collars and remote collars. Why? As soon as a dog pulls on something and you pull back, you actually can kick in drive in the dog, which could be also a flight drive. They want to flee. They want to flee from the scene. And then they work against you. So instead, even if you've got a dog that is fearful, teach it to walk next to you in a proper heel. Whose dog is that? I've never heard that back in this neighborhood. We live in the city. We have a lot of dogs around us. That's not like a dog I've heard. That's coming from that way. Anyway, next.
It's just bugging me a little.
Yeah.
Foster dog with EPI, food aggression, e-collar. She came emaciated, basically starving.
Yeah. So it sucks that the dog has EPI. It sucks that the dog came to you starving. I get that, but no free passes. And the dog is not food aggressive because it was starving, because we deal with dogs with food aggression that were not starving, and we deal with dogs that are emaciated who don't have food aggression at night. At night. I was reading the next question. Food aggression at all. So no free passes. You're aggressive around food. We're going to stop it. We're going to stop it now, because if we don't stop it, you're going to end up dead. And a lot of people are out there, I would never give up my dog. I assure you, your dog bites you enough times or bites your kid, you're going to give up your dog. Like, I would hope you give up your dog if your dog bit your kid a bunch of times, because like, don't you care more about humans? If you don't, that's an interesting conversation right there. Next.
What to do about dealing with OCD behaviors and cowering? Been working with my Dalmatian pointer.
So cowering and OCD behaviors are two separate issues with two totally different scenarios. OCD behaviors, we actually what we'll do is we'll stop that with a remote collar. We're very successful with stopping any licking, biting of things, and spinning and repetitive behaviors with a remote collar. It's actually a very, very powerful way to stop an OCD behavior. And I've read all the literature on other ways to do it, and I'm like, really? Like, wow. Why would you want your dog to be struggling for longer than it actually needs to be struggling when you can fix it actually in a couple of seconds? So probably the best case of an OCD behavior that I fixed was a dog that spun for 7 years. It was a bull terrier. It spun for 7 years, not 7 years straight. For 7 years, every time it heard a sound, a truck outside, it would spin around. For 7 years, they were struggling with this daily. And there's a woman from New Zealand, and the testimonial's up on my website somewhere, and I met her in Australia, and we fixed that in about 10 minutes with a remote collar. 7 years. She tried everything. She went to multiple trainers, multiple behaviorists, multiple vets, tried medication, tried everything. Tried redirection, reassociation, counter conditioning, like every acronym in the book. What do? We punished it for spinning. Guess what the dog did? Stop spinning. Simple concept, guys. Simple concept. Next.
Hi guys, great to see and hear you. Do you have any thoughts about a dog's dew claws on the back legs? Remove them or leave them alone?
Michelle, that would fall underneath that personal choice option. I've seen dogs have them torn off by coming out of the crate. So they come out of the crate and they get stuck and they get torn off. So they don't really have a purpose anymore. So it's different than declawing a cat. So let's not go down that road.
I guess a dog could mess them up if they're outside playing.
They can, yeah. They get stuck on things. So to me, if they were like those really floppy ones, which a lot of them are, I would have them removed. I'd have them removed. Next.
To add, we currently use treadmill, prong, and remote collar. Do I need more positive reinforcement?
I don't know. What was the question, though,
I don't
Christopher?
know.
Go back up there. See if Christopher has another question. You might have skipped some.
I don't think so.
You can go to solid.
Oh, what the OCD, the cowering, etc.
Oh yeah. So the as far as now is cowering now. So is cowering. Linda, people can't hear you. Turn up your volume. But also Linda will talk louder. Just
Okay.
pretend you're yelling at me. All right. So what you can do as far as the cowering, what I would do is now I would do different confidence building exercises. So confidence building exercises are going to be just basic obedience training, trick training, agility work, and it doesn't have to be an agility class, and do a lot of that stuff. And a lot of that's based on food, but also hold your down. She'll talk a little bit louder, but it could be just a bad connection on your part. But try booting off and booting back on. Next.
Hi Jeff, my GSD gets anxiety in the car. Tried a crate, but the crate doesn't help much.
So kite flyer, that's an interesting thing. I'm thinking that also I'm not against aromatherapy. There's some aromatherapy out there that's been really, really good for car sickness out there. But this is the thing. Put your dog into a downstay, open up the windows. But also what I want you to do is this. We've had dogs that have anxiety in the car. We put them in so much structure outside of the car that it organically goes away inside of the car. I actually do not have a lot of experience with dogs with anxiety in the car because the shrapnel effect of our training program passes on to inside of the car. Next.
Gabe says it's just frustrating because I have put over 2 years of training and it's not helping.
So Gabe, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. I don't know what to tell you. Next.
1-year-old German Shepherd, sometimes mouthy when playing. E-collar.
E-collar, yeah. Use the word no and then remote. Next.
My dog is fixated on distractions like joggers and walkers. Do I correct her before she notices?
So Murda. What I want you to do is at the first sign of excitement, not before she notices, because then you're just fucking with your dog. So at the first sign of excitement, so it's like, hey man, this is a really cool walk. What's going on? Hey bird, hey squirrel, jogger. Boom. That's when you give them the information that says, we're not going there today. We're not going there today. So that's when you do it. Next.
On your YouTube channel, do you have repeat videos on different playlists, or are all the videos different?
Kinsey, you start snooping around, right? Start going through them all. I'm sure there are some videos that are on 2 categories, maybe 3. I'm sure there are some that are on 2. But most of the videos, we're not that sophisticated on the YouTube stuff because it's free. So unfortunately, there's no good order to my videos on YouTube because it's all free content. I just put it up there. Sometimes I put them in different playlists. Like I've got a Patreon playlist. I've got a What Would Jeff Do playlist. I've got a Do It Yourself playlist, Behavior Mod. But some of your Behavior Mod falls into some other stuff as well. Next.
How is Girl doing?
Girl's doing okay. She started limping today, so I'm going to go take her to the vet to see how that's going. Next.
Please review puppy potty training for 14 weeks. Still struggling. Gene, man, do a Skype with me. Join my Patreon page and join a Skype. If anybody, because I don't want to review it because I've already gone over puppy training. But do an Excel spreadsheet, monitor your dog's food, monitor your dog's water, put them on an intense schedule. Don't let them out of your sight. Go out the same door every single time. On a slip lead, go to a certain area. If they poo and pee, if you want to click and reward, you can do that. Next. Love all your free advice. Tried prong with my anxious dog and it's working wonderfully.
Callie, even if you go to remote collar, your anxious dog will be even better. Next.
From your experience, what are the characteristics of a 1-year-old GSD?
That's a really long answer. A good one or a not good one? I mean, most German Shepherds that we run across, there's some breeding issues in them. But if you want to see the industry standard on a German Shepherd, it should be a confident dog. It should have good bone structure. I don't like the slope back as much as I like the straight back. I like a working line dog. I get my German Shepherd usually from the Czech Republic, so there's all kinds of, at 1 year old, they can start getting some more territorial and a little bit more protective at a year old. So, that's a complicated answer. Next.
Suzanne, thank you for the compliment. Do you recommend bark collars for use at night?
If your dog barks at night, yes. If your dog's barking in the crate, yes. If you're not home, yes. But I prefer at night, though, if your dog's in earshot of you, I prefer if you did use the remote collar instead than the bark collar. Bark collars are great when there's no humans around. If there's anybody out there that says bark, and also don't get the citronella ones or the air ones, get the shock ones, get the variable ones, go get the Garmin bark limiter. But if anybody out there is like, oh, bark collars are mean, okay, answer this question. How do you stop a dog today from barking when nobody's home? How do you stop a dog today when nobody's home? Because your landlord just put a letter under your door that says, if your dog doesn't stop barking, the dog has to go back somewhere. Answer that question. Because your dog, you have to get rid of your dog or you have to move. That's my world. That's apartments and condos world. That's people that have next door neighbors world. So that's a real world. So a lot of this other stuff that you hear online, it's all fantasy. It all sounds really good. It's a good narrative, but it's a bunch of bullshit. Next.
Okay, where's your video for teaching 14-week-old puppies stay duration and sit stay duration?
It doesn't make a difference if it's a 14-week-old puppy. We're not working on duration yet. If you're talking about on the Patreon, we're not working on duration yet. We're just working on the basic commands. But as far as doing duration stuff, you would do, I got Kengo, I'll answer the Kengo stuff. We're seeing all your questions, guys. We just get a ton of questions. You're in order. We're not skipping any questions. We'll get to you.
So as far as for duration, what you can do is a tie back. Just do it. Teach your dog place, put it on a tie back, and give it something to chew. At 14 weeks old, that's what we do. Like, we're not going to be correcting 14-week-old puppies for not holding a command. So that's what we would do. Also, when they're in their crate, they should be in a down and relaxed. Next.
I will no longer be working. I want a few shepherds. Is it a good idea to get a few pups from the
Never, never, no. And any good breeder won't sell you both. And don't let them guilt you out of this bull. Well, I got the last one of the breeder. So the breeder's like, there's 2 dogs left.
Yeah, well, she's talking about more than that anyway.
Yeah,
a few.
Get
Let's
one.
call 3.
Get one dog at a time. Train that dog. Get them about a year apart. You'll be overwhelmed. I don't care if you've got like, I wouldn't get 2 dogs at a time. And I got dog skills. I wouldn't. I would get 1 dog at a time. Next.
Husband only wants to take pure positive classes.
So there's something called Match.com, or there's eHarmony, or JDate.
What about Tinder?
I was going to say, or jump on Tinder. Next.
Good improvement on leash reactivity. Best way to begin meeting other dogs on than off leash.
So Taylor, never on leash. Never on leash. The reason is because 2 dogs on a leash, it's about a 50-50 chance. I'm really good at blackjack. I get a better chance of winning lots of money at blackjack than having a successful leash dog meeting. So I would probably stop that. Don't start that. So how do you get dogs to meet in a social setting? There's a lot of variables. The other dog and the other owner, your dog and you. So there's a lot of different variables there because there's a lot of little nuances that you got to look out for. So we do socialization at our, you know what I'll do? I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to do a socialization on, I'm going to put it up on my Patreon page. If you want to know how to get to Patreon, just go to Patreon, Patreon/Solid Canine Training. On my Patreon page, I'm going to put a special how to socialize a dog video tomorrow. Okay, next. Because there's so many, it's a really long answer. Next.
Don't say next if you don't mean it.
Next,
Okay.
now I mean next.
EPI dog only aggressive to resident dogs. Still no free passes. Sweet to people.
Suzanne.
He's giving you the look.
Your teenager only steals from you, but doesn't steal from the neighbors. Right? Next.
Okay. What remote collar do you recommend?
I like the e-collar technologies. We sell them on our website, but you don't have to buy them from us. Buy them on Amazon. You'll save a little bit of money. Next.
Does proofing with an e-collar work in most situations, like food aggression with other dogs?
Yeah. Remote collar training is powerful if you know how to do it when it comes to like aggression rehab. So absolutely. Next.
Michelle says thank you.
You're welcome.
Pamela, can you hear me better? Hope so.
Yep, Israel. Yep.
With your prong heel, how often should I alternate with normal walks to stimulate and relax the dog?
So this is the thing. So see, Myrna, I break up my walks. And what I do is this. When my dogs are on a leash, they're in heel. If I stop to go to the bathroom, I will come to a stop. I decide when they go to the bathroom, unless they stop, drop, trow, and start peeing. But normally I'll be like, okay, guys, it's time to go to the bathroom, or there's a nice spot, go potty. And then I relax the leash. But I train, my dogs are off leash trained. So, but what I would do with you is, if a dog's on a leash, it should be next to you, unless it's on a long line and you're like in the woods or a field or the beach or something like that. But if you take your dog outside, don't confuse it. Put it in the heel. Your heel will be better. And dogs don't need, like, there's more value about having a dog walk on a leash. They should be relaxed in a heel. You know? Have I ever been to Block Island? I have, and so has Linda.
No, lived on Block
Oh,
Island.
no, Linda has.
I have.
Linda has. Next. She was married. She was married there.
Are all Huskies weird and hyper?
No, not at all, Enrique. Nope, not at all. Next.
Love your advice. You're a pet owner's lifesaver and saving dogs.
Oh, Suzanne, thank you so much.
7-year-old well-trained Vizsla moved to brand new house and has started peeing in the basement. Ruh-roh.
Uh-oh, should have moved to California. No basements. So this is what I want you to do. This isn't exactly training. Keep your dog out of the basement though. Or remote collar on the dog, and you catch it in the act and you correct it. But that happens a lot when people move. They start marking. Next.
Kangol dogs. Can we have them as family dog?
So I have a Turkish Kangol, and I don't recommend them for 99% of the people out there. If you've got really good dog skills, and if you've got dog knowledge, and you've got some property, it can be a fun dog to have. If you've got a farm or livestock, it'd be an awesome dog to have. If you've got a horse ranch or horses, great dog to have. But your average person living in the city, probably not the best choice of dog. Actually, a lot of dogs are probably not the best choice. But I would probably stay away from. I mean, I got a Turkish Kangol, came over from Turkey. It came into our lives 6 years ago. 7 years ago, 8 years ago. Ronan, he lives in the center right now, and he comes back here for my training center. He comes back here in the summer because he can hang out by the pool. But that's different. Next.
Are Border Collie the smartest dog?
I don't know if they're the smart. If you ask a Border Collie owner, they'll tell you they are, right? It's like right where everybody that owns a breed thinks their breed is the dog is the best. Oh yeah, bulldogs are the best dogs. I'm like, unless you're a marathon runner. So I think the thing is that they are a very intelligent dog. They need to be kept very, very busy. They're also, a lot of them have got massive OCD because they're not kept busy. Next.
Anxious dog used e-collar for growling while eating. Now won't go near bowl even with food in crate.
Kathy, how long has it been since the dog has eaten? How many days did you go? How many days did you try it? Right? How many days did you try it? Next. Because we do that all the time, dogs eventually eat. Next.
Yes. Thanks for all the free content. Really appreciate
it. Kinsey, my pleasure.
Medical treatment causes setbacks with aggression. How to correct and stay on track.
Carolyn, if you're talking about the dog we worked with, you better get a hold of us ASAP. You better get a hold of us ASAP, like right away, because there's no excuse for that. So what I would do is remote collar, no excuses. But if your dog, depends who got the medical treatment. If your dog did, call the company, please, immediately, tomorrow. Set up an appointment. Thank you. Next.
Hey, Jeff. Thank you so much for the advice last week on how to use the e-collar for correcting
him.
Oh,
Ben, my pleasure. Always my pleasure. Guys, I want you to, I'm so humbled and honored to be able to share information. We went out for dinner last night. We tried a new Indian restaurant.
That was tonight, actually.
Tonight, we went out we just came back from a new Indian restaurant.
I ate so much.
It was good. And then we're like, holy shit, let's get back. We got to get back and do our show.
Here we are.
Hi
from Vancouver.
Hey, Vancouver. I will be in Kelowna. I'll be in Kelowna soon. Go to rvdogtrainer.com, rvdogtrainer.com, and you'll see I'll be in Kelowna. Next.
8-year-old Mal jumped fence and killed Pomeranian. Can she be rehabbed?
Suzanne. Sucks. Yes, she can be rehabbed. First thing I would do is I'd put hot wire up on that fence, and I would get that dog to not jump fences anymore. So how do you do that? Set the dog up. When it go try to jump the fence, that remote collar is on 100. 3 seconds. Make that dog hate the concept of jumping fence. You can also get invisible fence, layer invisible fence at the baseline. You can also get hot wire they use on farms, run that across the top. You can also get coyote rollers. But what I would do is I would use a remote collar for that.
What is Patreon page?
It's Patreon, patreon.com/Solid Canine Training.
And what's it for? I think
Patreon page is you get more of me. I get dozens and dozens of questions. I get anywhere from 18 to 30 questions a day emailed to me. private message, Instagram message, and email to me. I can't answer them. Like, I mean, this is sort of what I do for a living, right? So, I can't answer them. So I just don't have the time. I actually offer a Skype sessions. So Patreon, you get more of my time, and I answer all these questions in longer format. For instance, the woman that asked me about housebreaking for a 14-week-old, I would go into depth answer on that. Next.
How to not kill a dog that ate your shoe.
Well, your dog might just naturally die from a blockage. So wait 36 hours and your dog, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. So what I would do is this. Whose fault is it? Who is that? And Anomi, whose fault is it? Seriously. It's the owner's fault. It's the owner's fault. Let's take 100% responsibility. So what you want to do is you want to proof your dog. You know what I mean? Proof your dog. Have your dog around shoes, remote collar on. Got it? That dog goes for the shoe. You make it suck to eat shoes. And why? And some people are going to think that's mean. It's like, so dog eats shoe. Shoe doesn't come out. Rush to the emergency vet. Dog might die. If it doesn't die, $3,500 to open it up. It might get infected. You might have to go in for more surgery, and it doesn't stop the behavior. So remote collar is the kindest thing you can do for both you and the dog. Next.
For the e-collar, do you switch sides every 3 to 4 hours when it's been in use, or just when it's worn?
No, Ben, just when it's worn. Just so it doesn't get pressure sores. They don't burn. They don't burn. And also, we talk a lot about e-collars. I recommend e-collar technologies, Dogtra, and Garmin. Those are the 3 that I recommend. Sport dog, those run a little bit hot. So if your dog's on punishment mode only, sport dogs are fine for that. But the way we train, the way we train, it doesn't work. Next.
I'm on Patreon. Love it. You're helping me be a better leader to puppy and 10-year-old Doodle. Thanks, Gene.
Gene, love you, man. Love you, woman. I mean, sorry. To me, man is a unisex thing. Next.
So's dude.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Patreon page is awesome. That's
Oh,
Cheryl.
Cheryl, wow.
Hey, Cheryl.
So a lot of people are joining this Patreon page. That's good. I put up a bunch of stuff today. You can ask questions. Guys, every Monday I put up a posting and people can ask questions, and then I make a private video just for Patreon people. Yep, next.
Just want to answer or say something to Heather. Heather, it's Addiction eyeshadow palette #1 that I'm wearing tonight. Browns, warm colors. Just saying.
And makeup tips.
She said she liked my eyes tonight. So
right, next.
How would you intro resident dog and a potential foster dog if on leash doesn't work?
Suzanne, that's the freaking hard part, man. That's the hard part. What I would do is this. I would migrate. So migrate, which is leash walking. Do that. And then start putting them on the same side of together. See how they do. And then what I want you to do is place command. Get them to exist around each other. See how they do. And get as much history. Unfortunately, if it's a foster dog, you usually don't get the right history, but try to figure it out. This is what I want you to do in the back of your mind. Who asked that question again? Suzanne. In the back of your mind, Suzanne, I don't want you to be, I hope they're friends. I want them to be friends. Like no, you don't. All you want this. I don't want them to kill each other. Like that's the #1 goal. I don't want them to kill each other. I don't want a dog fight. I don't want to have to break up a dog fight. And I want them to exist with each other. That's goal #1. Next.
My female Yorkie hates the crate, shakes, barks, whines, also defecated and urinates.
Jacqueline, you got your work cut out for you. So this is the thing. The Yorkie's got to be in the crate. So what we're going to do is this. I got very strict crate protocols, but #1 is that you can stop. So what I want you to do is the barking and the whining you can stop. The shaking you can't stop. The shitting and the pissing, what I want you to do is make sure your crate, you've got a Yorkie, your crate should be about 25% bigger than your Yorkie. So it's a pretty small crate. They don't need a lot of space to move around. Also, I don't want there to be any bedding in there. No bedding in there. If it's going to piss, let it freaking lie in its piss for a little bit. It sounds mean, but it's not. There's actually a way to, because if it pisses in the crate and there's bedding in there, it absorbs it. So the dog really doesn't care as much. So, but what I want you to do is the barking, the whining, you can correct. How do you correct that? Hit the top of the crate, shake the crate, pet convincer, bonker, which is a towel. But everyone, oh my God, but the dog hates the crate. It's going to hate it more. No, it won't hate it more. It already hates the crate. It's not going to hate it more. What you're going to do is you're going to punish, interrupt the cycle that the dog has. We do this all the time. The cycle that the dog has. Then what will happen is the dog will be like, let me find the easiest thing to do. Dogs are always searching. They're searching for the most comfortable thing to do. So it's comfortable for the dog to bark and whine. Probably gets your attention. So even negative attention is attention, but at the beginning, that's what you're going to do. Also, what's going on outside the crates? How much structure, how much leadership, how much affection? Too much affection makes it worse. Trust me, if affection fixed behavioral problems, what do you think we would do all day? All day long, all we would do is give affection to dogs. I'm not against affection, but it does not fix behavioral problems. Nope, absolutely not. Next.
Question of the night.
Yep.
It says, do you change foot fetish dogs? I think they mean train. Do you train foot fetish dogs?
Or change. No.
Or change. I don't know.
A foot fetish dog? I would film that shit and sell it in Germany, man. You got yourself a gold mine. That's sort of like PG rated bestiality, right? That wouldn't be G rated.
Yeah.
PG rated? That's like PG rated.
Maybe PG-13.
PG-13 bestiality. If it's a serious question, though, and you're asking about a dog that likes to lick feet, which is common, I would use a remote collar on that, or I would use a bonker on that. And you have to use a punisher. Next.
Okay. I use e-collar along with the prong. He still starts nervous on walks, but is learning to relax.
So, Callie, what I want you to do is, right from the beginning of the walk, and this is what people struggle with, right from the beginning of the walk, deliver a correction to the dog. And you're like, but the dog's already nervous on the walk. Why would I do that? Would I make it worse? No, you won't. What you'll do is you'll get the dog focused on that walk and focused on you immediately. Immediately. That's what I want you to do. Next.
Oh, why does my dog constantly rub her butt on me?
Probably, Brian, because it feels good to the dog. I would check the dog's anal glands. Chances are the anal glands need to be expressed, or check for worms. But probably because it feels good. Probably because there is some discomfort, so they're sort of like scratching an itch. Next.
LOL, Basenjis are smart unless you want them trained.
Suzanne, I've actually worked with not a lot of Basenjis, probably less than 6. And they don't bark. That's a good thing. They train up okay. Next.
Do you know any Georgia trainers?
Georgia. Josh Donahue's down in Atlanta. Google Georgia trainers and then go to their Facebook page or website, dog trainers, and look for people that are balanced trainers that believe in reward and punishment and then have videos out. And they have videos out. If they list, if on the front page of their website they list their credentials, leave the page. If that's what people are going by, the credentials, you're not interested. You're interested in results. So you want to see videos. And everybody's got a video camera. It's right here. Everyone's got a video camera. So that's what you're going to look for. Next.
Would you recommend e-collar for jumping GSD?
I would recommend e-collar for everything. But if you've got a jumping, I've got a how to stop a jumping dog video. I think it's my #1 video or my #2 video. And it's on my YouTube channel. Next.
Best few steps to take to change my dog's behavior. Yelps and barks when seeing other dogs, but not I don't know.
So what you're doing is prong collar on your dog. I've got a video on that, how to fit it, how to size it, how to introduce it, and how to walk your dog. That's the start. Next.
Mal that killed Pomeranian is in dog jail. She may not be able to go home, but thanks for the advice.
Yeah, Suzanne. Yep. Killing dogs is pretty frowned upon, especially when they jump the fence. So that would suck.
Worth the money for those thinking about the Patreon page.
Oh, thanks, Jamal. Thanks, Jamal. Yeah, Jamal just did a Periscope with me, and Jamal just got a question.
A Skype?
Did I say Skype? Yeah. So Jamal just did a Skype with me. He got a Skype, with his level of patriotism, with his level of membership. And then also, you asked a question, Jamal, today about that I answered today for you in long format. Next.
Is it called Patreonism?
It's called patron. Become a patron. Yes.
Cannot get enough of you both. That is why I joined Patreon, and your listeners should too.
Oh, Debbie, thanks.
That's so nice.
She's
Hi,
not.
Debbie.
She's not on Patreon now.
Yeah, but Debbie's on my lives.
Oh, Debbie, thank you so much.
Yes.
Thanks for supporting her.
Thanks, Debbie.
She bought me dinner tonight, so
I did. The
Keep-
money I made
keep doing it.
what I'm doing.
Keep doing it, man. She took me out to dinner. Damn right, I got a sugar mama in the house.
Don't get too used to it.
Next.
My Shih Tzu poodle is the best.
Awesome.
I agree.
Awesome. That's so cool.
What's the difference between place, stay, or wait? Thanks.
So Taylor, first of all, welcome to my show. You're brand new. Welcome. Nice profile shot. Professionally done, most likely. So kudos to you. This is what if it wasn't professionally done, someone's got some freaking good skills. Like if that's a selfie shot, holy shit.
It looks great.
It looks great. Like, damn, you should make a video on how to take a fucking excellent selfie shot. So what I want you to do is this. We don't use the word stay or wait, believe it or not. We don't use the word stay or wait. Place means go to a object, which usually means a dog bed, and lie down
Or an object.
and don't move. That's what it means. So and it's also, it helps the dog with a state of mind. So we don't say stay. Stay is built into all of our commands. So sit down in place, stay is built in because we teach the command and then we teach the word no, which means you broke the command, so go backwards. And we teach the word break, which means we're releasing you from the command. So place is like here's a good, sorry guys on Spotify and YouTube. So those dogs are in place. And they're not tired. They're just like, they'll do that at 8 o'clock in the morning too. Next.
You guys saved my dog's life and changed mine. Shadow, the biting chow, is now so good we show him off.
Get the Frank Sinatra out of here. Holy shit. If anybody doesn't know who Shadow is, go back, what, about 2 months, maybe 3 months? Woo! That was a dog. Damn. Impressive. Now that's my staff that does that. So that's John, Brittany, and Jordan, who are my trainers, and then all of my support staff that work in the kennel. They did all that. I'm not training dogs at the training center. I'm just on tour all the time. But that, talk about a transformation. Woo! That dog had some practice biting in place. Next.
Debbie, thank you very much. Off-leash e-collar heel, how to correct if dog breaks heel, say no, and then give command?
So Robin, for a remote...
Oh, or just say heel and get attention back?
No, Robin, use your remote. If the dog's on punishment level, you're going to have to... So what you want to do is this. Make sure you're on... You do a leashed off-leash heel first. Leashed off-leash heel first. And the reason is because when you're using the remote, it's not directional. So you would say, dog breaks heel. You say no, heel. Give the dog some leash guidance backwards. Eventually, you would just say no and use the remote to correct when the dog knows it. Next.
Heard you mention this earlier, but want more insight. Can you keep the e-collar on overnight for barking?
Ben, if you have to, yes. But you're probably eventually going to get pressure sores on the dog. So, but biting dog, or what you can do is get a comfort pad. So if you've got a thick fur dog, you probably don't have to worry about it as much. If you've got a shorter fur dog, you can get comfort pads. So you're able to keep it on all night. And then just make sure you switch around as much as you can, or maybe during the day, let the dog air out, but it won't burn. Remote collars don't burn dogs. Next.
Can you tell me about Yorkies?
They're small and fluffy. I don't know who asked that question. So Kay, to me, they're trainable. So let's just, okay. So they're trainable. They're easily transported. You can fly with them, which is really great. They fit underneath your seats. They don't need much food, so your food bill is going to be lower. As far as behavior-wise, we see both sides of the spectrum, but we see mostly badly behaved Yorkies because that's what we specialize in, badly behaved behavior.
They also do need grooming.
But they need grooming, yes. But they train up just as well as any other dog. Personally, I like to do like they're not going to do well in deep snow. They're probably not going to do well on bouldering hikes because they can't get up. But as far as a really good family pet, absolutely. Are they good with kids or grandkids? Like, they're just as good or bad as any other breed. Next.
Extreme separation anxiety in crates.
So, Jamie,
Mhm.
Jamie, watch my separation anxiety video on YouTube. It's a 12-step video. Start out with watching that, and if you still struggle on that, come back and ask a question. See you later, Jake. Love you, buddy. Next.
Are cats trainable?
I don't know much about cat feline behavior. I know that my cats can learn how to stay away from dogs. That's for sure. But I've seen some cool cat videos of like cats doing agility and cats doing trick training. So cats are trainable. I believe actually just about all animals are trainable.
I do know that when I tell the cat to get off the table, he understands me.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
I'm loving Patreon. Jasmine.
Awesome. Man, we're getting a lot of Patreon love here.
Great. Love you both. Can't wait to see you at Canine Balance in College.
Oh, Cheryl, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. Next.
Almost got a 30-minute one too. LOL.
Yeah, Jamal. Yeah, you did.
Oh,
I love you, buddy. Next.
you need a TV show, man.
So, one purpose mime. First of all, that's really cool. Are you really a mime? That's awesome. That's really good. Hopefully you're killing it out there. If you're not, I do business consulting. I'll show you how to kill it. But I've been approached, and we've had stuff go through different producers and in different, No, there's stuff in the works. Next.
There always is. Gotta bounce, guys. Where are we? Okay, here we go. I'm going to be home almost all day. Do I need a crate? I have absolutely clean, empty garage.
So yes, crate your dogs for a bunch of reasons, not just because of destruction and soiling, but it's a leadership thing. And what happens if you have to travel and you got to crate your dog? So, all of my trainers keep their dogs in crates. I keep some of my dogs in crates. Some of my dogs have more freedom, but all my dogs are crateable. So I would suggest at least make sure that all your dogs can actually live in a crate. It's a structure thing too. It's leadership and structure. Next.
Why does my Chihuahua always jump on my shoulder and lick her feet? Please help.
So Chihuahua jumping on your shoulder, dogs got some pretty good balancing skills, right? Unless you've got like the weight of the world balancing on your shoulders, then you have big shoulders, right? So to me, what I would do is, the question is, how do I get my dog from jumping up on me? And that's easy. You do that through a punisher. So what you can do is, I don't have one here, a pet convincer, which is compressed air, or a bonker, which is a wrapped up towel. I would just use compressed air. If the dog jumps up on you, you would just say no. And it's like, the things you use to clean off your keyboards? It's just compressed air. You say no, spray it at the dog. It's not going to harm the dog. It startles the shit out of the dog, though. And the dog goes, that sort of sucked. And I'm like, I know. Well, I don't like it when you jumped on my shoulders. And as far as licking its feet, it's grooming itself. So now that doesn't mean your dog can't get in your lap. Put it on a command, though. Put it on a command. Next.
Ever seen a meme of a mime?
No. Next.
I don't have a next yet.
So Jeff Gelman of Solid Canine Training. I do this every week. I'm a dog trainer, business owner up in Providence, Rhode Island. We specialize in aggression rehab. We've got, you can go to solidcaninetraining.com, solidcaninetraining.com, and RV Dog Trainer. And check us out on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Periscope, which you're on. And also my show is on Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, iTunes, and some more. Next.
LOL, say it 3 times fast, JK.
Nice.
Ever seen a meme of I understand structure of crate, but I want 4 large dogs. Don't want crates all over.
So then don't do it. Hey, listen, nobody has to do anything I say. Nobody has to do anything I say. I've got 4 crates all lined up. I have a special room for my dogs. They're all lined up. If you've got a garage that's empty, line them up. You should set your place up as a boarding train, almost like a little boarding train. You don't have to. You don't have to, New York City, Archie. But just remember this conversation. Just remember, like, if you have one of those, like, it could be literally a horrific experience with 4 dogs. So if you're going from no dogs to 4 dogs, because you want a lot of dogs because you're retired now, that's awesome. I mean, that's really, really good. I mean, I've got 4 dogs at least. So, but the structure is the important part. So you don't want 4 dogs Like the crates aren't going to be all over the place. They're going to be all lined up. You put a piece of wood on the top, and now it's storage. And I'm being serious. So my kennel room has 4 big crates in it and a piece of wood on the top. And all 4 dogs go in there. They eat in there. They sleep in there. And then there's a little door that goes outside into a fenced-in area. It's a pretty cool setup. Next.
How to help a fearful dog.
Lisa Smith, that's a very long-winded answer. The first thing is training. Also, be careful how much affection you give that dog. Massive amounts of structure, tons of structure. And believe it or not, remote collar training for a fearful dog is probably the best option. And I say that as somebody that's worked with a ton of fearful dogs and gotten really good results. So a lot of people will say that'll make it worse. We've never seen that. We've never seen it. Next.
Thank you. Lots of learning.
Awesome.
Great info as usual. Thanks.
Awesome, Kathy. Thank you, Shelley.
Dog snapped at vet when getting shot. Getting a muzzle to train before. Thoughts?
Sarah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it at all. Let's see. My oldest daughters are 28. And I remember one of my daughters, Olivia. She was getting a throat culture. She was sitting on the table, and the doctor put the popsicle stick in her mouth and pushed down, and she literally kicked the doctor in the nuts.
And
that's the end of the story. So what I would do is this. Excuse me. I'm gonna cough. Muzzle up the dog, take him to the vet. Who cares? Don't worry about it. Next.
How difficult is it to train a beagle off leash?
It's not that difficult. I mean, remote collar training is going to be the magic to any dog off leash, but especially a beagle. Next.
Thanks for info, Jeff. We'll get e-collar by the end of month. Meantime, prong, collar, and place work.
Awesome, Bernadette.
Thank you.
You're welcome,
Lisa.
You're welcome, Lisa.
My Jack Russell is unsociable with some dogs and friendly with others. Why is that?
Mark, because it's a dog. It's a dog. It's a dog. Like, your dog is not going to be friendly with all dogs. That's just your dog. And and guess what? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Who cares? I mean, you don't want your dog fighting with other dogs, but who cares? They're dogs. This concept of dog, look it up. Okay, look at us as humans. Seriously, look at us as humans. We drink, we smoke, we overeat, we are violent, we cheat on our spouses, we lie, we steal, and we expect our dogs to be better than us? No. Don't worry about it. Next.
Why is marking outside, peeing on 6+ different spots, not okay for the dog?
So Taylor, if your dog doesn't have any aggression issues at all, if it doesn't resource guard you, who cares? It doesn't matter to me. But if your dog has any type of resource guarding or any type of aggression or reactivity, then it's an issue. It's an issue because it's claiming its territory. So I would stop it. But if your dog doesn't have those behavioral issues, who cares? It's not the worst thing. Next.
So punisher for Yorkie jumping or getting in the trash, no need for usual high-level correction?
Jamal, getting in the trash, I would probably do a high-level correction because the dog could die. It can get something and die. Next.
Stuff's moving. After our Skype the other day, was able to get a collar on the dog that wouldn't let me put it on. Thanks. Was able to get a collar on.
Oh, awesome. Dan, proud of you. Good job, Dan. Yeah, Dan and I had a Skype this week too. Yep.
You ready?
Yep. But also, go answer the question. There's a second part of the marking question. Next.
Can't find 12-step anxiety video. Have been looking for weeks.
Pamela. If I went to my YouTube channel right now, solidk9training.com, hit the YouTube link. In my YouTube channel, there's a little search box. In the search box of my YouTube channel, if I put in separation anxiety, it would pop up. Every time somebody says that, and they say, can you send me the link? I'm like, it's there. And they say they can't find it. I actually find it, but I don't send them the link. And you know why I don't send them a link? Not to be a dick. I send them the link. I send them the link because if I can find it, you can find it. And guess what? 50% of the time, I spell separation wrong. Separation is not an easy word to spell.
It's not?
No, I always mess up separation. Is it P-A-R-A-T-I-O-N or P-E-R? Is it separate or separate?
Separation.
See, I do it wrong. It's in there. I'm telling you. It's there. Next. Yes, I asked the Beagle question.
And did you buy that second house in Florida?
I close on that house. I close on that house on Monday. So we're buying another home in Florida, Bradenton, Florida. I'm flying down there Sunday with one of my daughters, Clover. If you want to check us out, just watch our Instagram stories. I document my whole life. And in fact, last night we had sex. It was only a 2-second video. So I mean, they let you. I was hoping to get the whole 10 seconds. It lasted for 2. I'm 52 years old. I'm not like, anyway. So next.
Got it. Dog does have reactivity and loves to overmark.
So Taylor, don't let the dog do the marking. Don't let the dog do the marking. Next.
My own dog bit me when I tried to steal his food.
Deadbeat. All right. So this is what I want you to do.
2-second man.
So this is what I want you to do is teach the dog the out command. Teach the dog the out command. Next. So yes, we're buying the house. And I'm buying another one in 2018. So
I'm sorry, I missed it. Could you repeat your answer on the Beagle question?
with a remote collar, you can train a Beagle to be off-leash trained. Next.
You need an Airbnb in the Adirondacks.
Carolyn, I'm looking at the Catskills right now. I'm looking at a log cabin off the grid in the Catskills to turn into an Airbnb. Next.
Love you. What would Jeff tips of the day video?
Who said that? Michelle? Thank you so much, Michelle. Next.
Chihuahua is normally crated. Wife forgot to crate. Dog marked on entrance to our bedroom and daughters.
Christopher, mark it up to human error. Seriously, human error. That's why we crate dogs. Next.
My 7-pound poodle, almost 1 year, bites on my clothes when I or anyone comes in. How to stop it?
So, Brenda, this is what I want you to do. Make a bonker. A bonker is a towel wrapped up, secured by 2 elastics. You're going to say the word no, wait a second, and then throw the towel at the dog. A lot of people are going to freak out about that. You're telling people to hit their dog. I'm telling people to throw a cotton towel at their dog. All right? Cotton towel at their dog. It'll stop. Next. Hey, Saudi Arabia.
I was just going to say hi from Saudi Arabia.
Hey, Saudi Arabia. How are you? I'd love to do a seminar over there. I'd like to get over to Dubai. Next.
Come to Arkansas. Real estate is great here.
Maybe one day. Right now, I'm looking at. Also, if you guys are cheap old houses, go on to Instagram, look up cheap old houses, join that page. Woof! There's some freaking great houses on there. Next.
What time do you do the daily tip? I keep missing them.
So Shelly, don't worry. They're videotaped. They're not live. They're there every day. In fact, I've got to do after this. I'm doing tonight's, so it'll be posted. It'll probably be posted about 11 o'clock tonight. But they're on my Facebook page. So go to my Facebook page. They're on my Facebook page and my YouTube page. Next.
Do you recommend dental bones?
Ben, I'd be super careful about those because if they break them, they can get lodged inside of them. I'd be really careful about them. I'm a big just femur bone guy, raw bone guy. Next.
Got it. Thanks. You guys are great. We'll keep working on my dogs.
Awesome, Christopher.
I think my Palm is happy staying in one room while family is out or more secure in a crate.
Big cat mama, more secure in a crate. It doesn't make a difference if that dog is happy. This concept that dogs have to be happy, first of all, it's always better to keep a dog in a crate, in my opinion. Now, you don't have to if you don't want to, but it's always going to be better. And if the dog doesn't like it in the crate, it's going to have to learn to like it, right? Next. I hated going to school, but I had to by law. Next.
Female Shih Tzu always wants meat in her food, will not eat dry food.
So, Caesar, number one, think about changing to the raw diet. The raw diet is awesome, right? Raw diet's awesome. but it's not the worst thing. But if you're like, F that, Jeff, I'm only doing kibble. Like this dog of mine, it's getting kibble. That's it. 42 cents a day to the penny. That's all it's going to get. Okay, no problem. Take your 21 cents of kibble because you want to do twice a day. So 21 cents in the morning, 21 cents at night. You put the food bowl down. You wait 15 minutes. You take the food bowl back up.
What do you mean 21 cents?
It's 42 divided by 2. It's 21. Don't worry about it, okay? You ask, I answer. And then at night, you do the same thing. Eventually, the dog is going to eat the kibble. The problem is you're saucing up. We call it saucing up the food. You call it saucing up the food. So, next.
What do you do for keeping your dog's teeth clean and healthy? Is that important to tend for?
So, Ben, I do raw bones, but I also feed my dog chicken quarters, and they just crunch right through it. All raw. Don't cook the meat. Raw meat is better for the dogs. So, but yes, dental health is very important for a dog. Very important for a dog. We see a lot of dogs that can start if their mouth or their teeth are in pain. That's when they can start biting you too. Next.
Also, a lot of little dogs have the teeth issues because
Yeah.
their teeth are so close together and tiny.
Yeah, you don't want bad gums either. Woo.
Very cool. I found you guys. Thanks.
Oh, awesome.
Big Cat Mama. Is there a book to set up my yard in Arkansas to have a run and training gear for exercise?
So no, I would look on different websites. Look on Pinterest. Look on different Facebook pages. On Facebook pages, there's like a dog kennel Facebook group. Next. Read that.
Only holistic, the best dry.
Caesar, the dog doesn't care. Caesar, dogs eat poop. Seriously, think about it.
They love it.
So this is what happens. We're trying to justify why our dogs aren't eating the food, right? We're playing this little game. We're like sitting there going, why the hell won't my dog eat this food? It's the best dry food on the market. People have been eating like crap. Dogs have been eating crappy dog food for years. So don't take it personally. Don't take it personally. Next.
You are awesome.
Oh, thanks,
Christina.
1-year-old
GS destroys all toys and eats antlers. What can I use? Spending lots of money on toys.
Okay, stop giving the dog toys. They don't need them, and the big box stores want more of your money. Stop giving your dog toys. Just do bones. Just do femur bones. Raw. Next.
It's going crazy here. What brands do you recommend for raw bones and such? Would love to know. Thank you for all the help.
I just go to the butcher shop. Next. Next.
I'm looking.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, the dog won't starve itself. Currently dog sitting a Maltese Shih Tzu mix that lived off one of two. Where's it? Dog treats, and that's not happening at my house. He's eating real food now.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Your thoughts on CBD oil for dogs?
Big advocate, Dan. In fact, we're probably going to start carrying CBD oil on our website, and we're probably going to start utilizing CBD oil in our program. A huge advocate for CBD oil.
Oh, yeah.
Also for humans. Next.
Oh, yes. The problem is if I don't put meat in the damn dog eats her poop.
Caesar, you got your work cut out for you, buddy, right? Okay, so.
Just so you know, we're
over an hour.
We're over.
All right. Okay, we're over an hour. All right. So, Andre, what did I say? People have been eating awful dog food for years. People have been eating awful dog food for years. I know. I misspoke. I misspoke every once in a while. All right, guys, it's over an hour. It's time to go. CBD oil actually is not marijuana. It's actually not marijuana. Nope, it's not. So look it up. Google it. Google CBD oil. You spelled it right, Angela. All right. Jeff Gelman of Solid Canine Training. This is Linda. And it's time to go. We do this for an hour and all. Join my Patreon page if you want more. Guys, it's a free show.
Love you too, Cheryl.
Let's scale this, guys. It's a free show. All right? So madly in love with all of you. Take care. And I'll see all of you on Facebook. I'll see you all on Instagram. I'll see you all on YouTube. I'll see you all on Patreon. And I'll see you all on Periscope. And that's where I'm going to see you all this week. All right? Take care. Madly in love with you. Bye. Love you all.